You guys are early. Got the mic on. Didn't start yet. 10 o'clock. Here we go. Hello everybody, welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on YouTube. Want to welcome you to the December 11th, 2021 All 50s and Early 60s edition of the Vinyl Treasure Show on this stormy, windy night here. It's not cold out. It's like it says rain to stop on at the bottom of my PC, but it was like 55 or 60 degrees early this evening, but it's really blowing. I'm just worried about the power going out. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that doesn't happen. It's bad enough that I got to deal with the upstream working correctly, let alone I got to worry about the weather out there. But welcome to the Vinyl Treasure Show. We open up with a cool instrumental from April 1954, tenor sax man Mr. Red Prysock. He was originally from Greensboro, North Carolina, and he, of course, was the older brother of singer Arthur Prysock. And this was his first release for the Mercury record label, and I have it on the Pink Mercury label, a song called Jump Red Jump. And that one there on the Pink Mercury label, April 1954 release. That was his first. So let's start it off here with the vocal portion, and we head out to Chicago, Illinois for this next 45. The A-side was a pretty big hit for Jerry Butler and the Impressions. You know the song. It was called For Your Precious Love. Came out on the VJ subsidiary Falcon record label, and also Abner, I think, also put it out on Abner. But it also came out on the VJ record label, and it's very rare on VJ Records, and that's how I'm featuring it on the VJ label. But I'm not featuring the A-side. Maybe we'll play that next week. I'm featuring the up-tempo B-side. And, of course, this is with Jerry Butler on lead. We go to May 1958. We open up with a rare 45 on Vivian Carter's VJ record label by Jerry Butler and the Impressions. The B-side to For Your Precious Love, it's called Sweet. Was the Wine. Scratchy.
Sweet was the wine that we drank last night. So sweet were the words you said as you held me tight. But what was sweeter than anything I know was when you kissed me at the door. Sweet was the music they played to a little song, and so sweet was the music that we danced to love. But what was sweeter than anything I know was when you kissed me at the door. I'll never forget that moment all. So let's go back and reminisce. Oh, let's reminisce the night that we took. Meet me at the door. What was sweeter than anything I know was when you kissed me at the door. Sweet was the warmth of your embrace, and so sweet was the little smile that you had on your face. But what was sweeter than anything I know was when you kissed me at the door.
We open up the vocal portion there with a B-side. The B-side for Your Precious Love by Jerry Butler and the Impressions. That one there, though, on the VJ record label. Really a rare 45. Apologize for all the scratches, but when Spence offered it to me, and at a reasonable price, I have to say, really didn't pay so much for that record. But, of course, it's a trash copy from May 1958. Sweet Was the Wine is the name of the tune. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure show. Last week, I played a request for Eddie Brown, and listening in New Zealand, he requested The Travelers on the Atlas label with the B-side of their 45 called Betty Jean, and that featured Frank Lopez, aka Frenchy Concepcion, on lead. And we're going to flip it over here because this was the A-side. Betty Jean on one side, Lenora on the other. This one from August 57. Give a listen to The Travelers on the Atlas label with their tune called Lenora.
Da 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 dum ba da dum ba da dum ba da do da 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 dum ba da Lenora, boom 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 da da da
Lenora, your dark eyes are shining in the night. I am finding sweet love for you. Whoa, 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 Lenora, I really love you so. I'll never let you go, 'cause you're mine, Lenora.
boom 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 boom.
On the night that we parted, well, love was meant to be, and now I'm broken hearted. Why can't you seem to listen to me, oh Lenora? I really love you so. I'll never let you go. Never forget Lenora.
ba da doom ba da doom ba da do 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 do.
Out of Brooklyn, New York, there. Those are the Travelers. The Travelers on Thomas Robinson's Atlas record label. I know some of these owners by heart, but that's Thomas Robinson's Atlas, the owner of Atlas Angletone Records, by the way. And Frank Lopez, it's mentioned on the label, he's the lead singer. He's really Frenchy Concepcion. He was a member of the Wrens, also the lead singer of a group, the Travelers, August 1957, with Lenora. You know, we count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. We're starting it off with an early one here. This great group you all know goes back to 1946, had releases on National and King and Columbia and OK and Mercury and Jubilee and other labels too, and had many great lead singers through the years. Leonard Pusey, Maith Marshall, Joe Van Loan, and a bass lead singer. And that, of course, is Jimmy Ricks. And I forget when I played the flip side of this, the ballad. It's kind of got like a mid-tempo change. And maybe we'll flip it over for next week if you guys want to. It's called You Don't Have to Drop a Heart to Break It. That's a great record. That's on the flip. But I never played the other side of the record. It features Jimmy Ricks on lead. We go back to January 1951. This is on the Columbia record label, a nice hard vinyl copy, believe it or not. The Ravens here on Columbia with Jimmy Ricks. It's called Midnight Blues.
Blues, blues, stop bothering me. Stop bothering me. Midnight blues, why can't you let me be?
Well, why can't I lose these midnight blues? These midnight blues keep bothering me. I want to be happy, I want to be free. Ooh-wee, blues, stop bothering me. Yes, you got me where you want me, so why can't you let me be? I guess I can stand most anything, but the whistle on that midnight train, that lonesome whistle drives me mad. It's the best gal I ever had. Now I'm trying to lose the midnight blues. You can take away my money, cut off my right hand, but the blues I get at midnight is more than I can stand. Well, blues, stop bothering me. Yes, you got me where you want me, so why can't you let me be? I went to a party the other night. Thought that everything would be alright, but long about midnight that became. I heard my baby call my name. She said you never lose, no, never lose the midnight blues. Blues, stop bothering me. Going blues, stop bothering me. Well, stop bothering me. Midnight blues, why can't you let me be? Well,
those are the great Ravens there. Early side from January 1951. That's on the Columbia record label. Midnight Blues is the name of the tune. That's their third of 5 for Columbia, featuring the bass lead of Jimmy Ricks. Did you know that some of these Columbia, these early 45s on Columbia, there's cardboard in between those heavy records. Even on their 78s, there's like this brownish cardboard. If you ever cracked one of those, well, I don't think they did it on all their 78s and all their 45s, but you can find like cardboard in the middle. It was pretty good. I think that definitely makes for an unbreakable 45. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And Johnny G, we have a lot of requests to get to tonight, and here's one for Daniel Kubacki. This group from Harlem, New York, recorded 2 for the New York City Gem record label. This is their first release on the Gem record label, and this let me see, it's the first of 2 on Gem, and this group is known as the Four Bells. This is from June 1953 by request for Daniel Kubacki. The Four Bells on Gem. It's called Please Tell It to Me.
Don't tell the birds and don't tell the trees. Don't tell all the people that you see. Darling, if you can, please won't you tell it to me. Don't tell the fish in that rippling stream that I'm the one in all of your dreams. Darling, if you can, please won't you tell it to me. I've waited on so long to hear you say I love you, but my heart don't hear a single word. So darling, what can I do? Don't tell the moon and the stars up above that the one you always will love. Darling, if you can, please won't you tell it to me. Please won't you tell it to me.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki there, those are the Four Bells. June 1953, that's their first of 2 on the Gem record label with the Blues Express Orchestra. Song entitled Please Tell It to Me. Now, the bass on this group, he was Pat Gatson, who later on became bass for the Solitaires, and he was a member of this group, the Four Bells. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into 1954. This is a request for Warren Russell in our YouTube chat room, as this artist was born Overton Amos Lamons in DeQuincy, Louisiana, but he recorded as Smiley Lewis. First began in 1947 on Deluxe Records, but he moved to Imperial Records, had a whole bunch of releases on Imperial, I think 31 in all. This is his 11th co-written, a song he co-wrote with Dave Bartholomew, whose band actually backed him up. I don't know if they backed him up on this one here, but this one from January 1954, we feature feature R&B, early R&B here on the Vinyl Treasure Show also, but this is for Warren Russell, Smiley Lewis on Imperial. It's called Down the Road.
Yes, down the road I'm gone. Don't wanna be no dirty rat, so don't call me your loving cat, 'cause I don't wanna be your low down dog no more. Gonna pack my grip and down the road I'll go. I saw you on Rampart Street and I found out who you went to meet, so I don't wanna be your low down dog no more. Gonna pack my grip and down the road I'll go. Yes, I'm gone. Don't wanna be no dirty rat, so don't call me your loving cat, 'cause I ain't gonna be your low down dog no more. Gonna pack my grip and down the road I'll go. You told everybody that I'm to blame, and you know that you are ashamed, 'cause I ain't gonna be your low down dog no more. I'm gonna pack my grip and down the road I'll go.
That's a jumpin' R&B tune by request for Warren Russell there, Mr. Smiley Lewis. Smiley Lewis on the Imperial record banner, the Blues Script, the Blues, I guess we'll call it Blue Script Imperial, January 1954 release. Down the Road is the name of the tune. Let's continue here. We stay in 1954 with a request for Joe Shacatano. We go to Philadelphia for the Sound of the Dreams. They had 3 releases on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy record label, and Joe wanted to hear the B-side to their first release. The A-side was a song called Darlene, but the flip side was written by the bass of the group, Stephen Preesbury, and it features George Tinley Onley. This is going out to Joe Shacatano, April 1954. Give a listen to The Dreams on the Savoy label. It's called A Letter to My Girl.
I'm writing to my girl, the sweetest little girl in the world. I know that she'll be blue, still she'll be true to me. When I was in the world, I had no other girl, but now I'm blue because I can't have you. So I'm writing to my girl, the sweetest little girl in the world. I know that she'll be blue, but still she'll be true to me. In this envelope, dear, enclosed now is a tear to find a little space in your heart. Endless and enveloped enclosed is a tear to find a space in your
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, those are the Dreams. George Tinley and the Dreams, April 1954. That's on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy record label out of Newark, New Jersey. This group is out of Philadelphia. A Letter to My Girl. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Speaking of Newark, New Jersey, this next artist is from Newark, New Jersey. I had this request sitting in the box for a while. I was contemplating playing it because it's probably more popish than anything else, but there is harmonies by his group backing here. They're not the strongest, but it's definitely worth a play, and I'm sure many of you haven't even heard this record before, because I'm sure many of you are familiar with Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. But before he was with the Four Seasons, he had a solo effort in 1953 called My Mother's Eyes on the Corona label. I have that record. I have a 45 and a 78 of it, believe it or not. But this was his overall second release, and it came out on the Mercury record label. I have it on the black label. It's supposedly the first press is on the maroon. I really don't care. I didn't pay a lot of money for the record, but it's definitely worth a spin, and it's a request for Evan Blatt, who is in our YouTube chat room. So this one released in May of 1954, and his group is called The Travelers. This tune written by Hugo and Luigi. You see their name a lot on the Roulette record label because they gravitated over to Morris Levy and Roulette Records there for a lot of records that they wrote and produced. But anyway, they wrote this tune. This is an early kind of popish sound for Frankie Valli, spelled Valley. Frankie Valli and the Travelers from May 1954. This is on the Mercury record banner. His second overall release by request for Evan Blatt. It's called Forgive and Forget.
Forgive and forget. It's easy to say, but I can't forget that my love went away. Forgive and forget. I know I should try, but I can't forgive, 'cause my love made me cry. I who was a fool to believe that you'd be true to me. I should have known from the start that you would break my heart. Forgive and forget, and have no regret. Someday I'll forgive, but I will never forget.
Forgive, forget. Forgive, forget. Forgive, forget.
I who was a fool to believe that you'd be true to me.
As by request for Evan Blatt there, early Frankie Valli, spelled Ley, V-A-L-L-E-Y, Frankie Valli. And the Travelers, that's on the Mercury record banner, May 1954 release. Forgive and Forget is the name of that song. I think after this, this is 1954. I think then he went with the Four Lovers for RCA Records, and some of those are pretty cool records, I'd have to say, by the Four Lovers. I have that EP. I think that's Norm's EP, Brian. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And last week I played a request for Rick and Philly, the great Clyde McPhatter and the Drifters, their 8th release on the Atlantic label, and that one there, a song entitled What You Gonna Do, and it was Andrew Turner that requested the flip side, and it's a cool tune, it is. And a lot of times what Atlantic was doing, especially with the Drifters, is they were putting on the flip sides earlier material, as even going into like 1961. They had stuff that was recorded from the 1950s, and great records too, by the way. But I think originally What You're Gonna Do was they recorded it a number of times, but I think originally it was recorded sometime in 1954. It was released in February of 55, but the flip side with Clyde McPhatter and the Drifters was recorded August 9th of 1953. So it's a little bit early sounding, but it's a great tune. This is by request for Andrew Turner. These are the Drifters with Clyde McPhatter on lead from February 1955, released in 55, recorded in August of 1953. It's called Gone.
And gone is the happiness we once knew. And gone is the thrill of your sweet and tender embrace. And gone is the spark that I can't replace. Now loving you made me happy. My world was so complete. But darling, I just didn't know having and holding you too. And gone is the hope, but not my memory of you. Gone is the thrill. Gone is the spark. And gone is the hope, but not my memory of you.
As by request for Andrew Turner there, that's a B-side. B-side to What You Gonna Do, it's a song entitled Gone. That's with the Clyde McPhatter and the Drifters, February 55 release on Atlantic, recorded earlier, August 9th of 1953. Let's continue here. And with December, it's the start of the Christmas season. Of course, I'll be doing an all-Christmas show on the 25th, again starting at 10 p.m. here on YouTube, and also at midnight beginning on Oldies and More Radio. So if you have a request, a Christmas request, vocal group harmony style, I got a lot in already, so I'm quickly pulling them. Charlene is keeping a list here. I still can use some more, that is for sure. But send it to vinyltreasures@aol.com, and I'll send you out a Christmas song. And this is a Christmas tune I really like. And this group is out of Cleveland, Ohio, but they recorded for a Chicago label. It was called Ron L Records. Both sides of this 45 are great in my opinion, but it's their first of two on the Ron L record label. It features Joe Williams on lead. We go to November of 1955. This is a cool Christmas tune by the Hepsters on the Ron L record label. It's called Rockin' and Rollin' with Santa Claus.
It was the night before Christmas. Everyone was quiet as a mouse.
You
Gotta be rock and rollin', with Santa Claus. It was the night before Christmas, everybody was quiet as a mouse. Rock and rollin', gotta be rock and rollin'. Up jumped Santa Claus and he started rockin' the house. Rock and rollin', you gotta be rock and rollin', rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus. All the cats were filled with glee, rockin' under the Christmas tree. The old man with his whiskers came on strong and kept the joint jumping all night long. Rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus. Old Saint Nick, he's the last word. He traded his reindeer for a Thunderbird. He traded his boots for some dancing shoes so he could rock to the low-down blues. Rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus. Old Saint Nick, he's a helping man. He traded his jingle bells for a swing band. Rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus.
little boy blue, come blow your horn. Rhythm and blues, get the call.
Little boy blue, come blow your horn. Rhythm and blues, forget the horn. Play it sweet, play it slow, play it high, play it low. Rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus. Rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus. Rockin' and rollin' with Santa Claus.
Sounds of the season here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. The great Hepsters there. Joe Williams on lead. They're out of Cleveland, Ohio. That's out of Chicago on the Chicago Ron L record label. Rockin' and Rollin' with Santa Claus, the name of the tune. November 1955 release. Their second release, much harder. They're both hard, but I gotta sing the blues. That is a hard 45 to find. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into 1956. Let's stay in Cleveland because the Moonglows, I think originally they were from Cleveland, Ohio, weren't they? Or am I wrong? I think they were originally from Cleveland. Then they traveled up Chicago, Illinois way. But this is a request for Rick in Philly. He requested the Moonglows' seventh release on the Chess record label. This was their follow-up to We Go Together. I don't know if it was Seesaw the A-side or was this the A-side? I forget, but it's with Bobby Lester on lead. This was a number 15 I think this was the hit side. This was a number 15 hit on the R&B Billboard charts. We go to July 1956 by request for Rick in Philly, the Moonglows, Bobby Lester and the Moonglows on Chess with When I'm With You on Styrene.
What makes my heart turn upside down and my head goes spinning, 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 round and round? It only happens when when I'm with you. What makes me count the days gone by and never heave sigh? It only happens when I'm with you. As time goes by, I tell myself that I'm living in a wonderland. I can't seem to understand. And when the tears fall from my eyes, then I realize it only happens when I'm with you. Oh yes, it only happens when I'm with you.
As by request for Rick and Philly, the great Moonglows there with a cool tune. Bobby Lester on lead, July 1956, When I'm With You is the name of the tune. I'm looking for the West Coast Monarch press of that. I love to collect both VJ and Chess and Checker on the California Monarch presses. They play so great. And these other presses are styrene. Although that one didn't play right. Dwayne mentioned didn't play that bad. No, it didn't. Just a little bit of, but it was definitely cool to listen to. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go back to Philadelphia with a request for Daniel Kubacki. Got to tell you a story about this record here. I used to go to the Yonkers Raceway Flea Market. When I was in high school, I was learning how to drive out of 71 Impala. I used to drive there like 6:30 in the morning, and there was this other guy. What do you call those hats with the feather in them? He used to have sunglasses on and one of those hats with the feather in it. And he was a kind of like a heavy guy, and he had a cigar in his mouth. And he would be walking around earlier than me, and he's walking around, and he would tell me, Johnny, go over here. Johnny, go over there. And he goes, I'm not competing against you. I'm looking for classical records. I'm not looking for group records. I'm going to direct you to the right place. And he was telling me the truth. He said to me, do you have any classical stuff that you may have picked up? And I said, well, I do. I have stuff that I picked up that people have given to me. He goes, well, come down to my house because I have a bunch of records. They're all for $1 a piece. They were probably stuff that he picked up, in his travels. So I said, okay, I'll bring the stuff down. And we'll come up with a price, we'll trade or whatever. So the two best records I got out of that trip, I think it was in Brooklyn or the Bronx. His name was Marty Mikulik, I forget, Marty something. And he's the one that turned me on to Goldmine magazine and turned me on to record shows and all that. I didn't know anything about that. So I went down and I visited him, and there were two records in his box, Stone Mint. What's that? The Tin Pan Alley, the mellow, what is it? The Mellowtones on Tin Pan Alley, their common one. And this record that Daniel requested for $1. And there were some other ones into the 60s, not many, but it was definitely worth the trip to go. And I don't know what happened to him. I hope he's okay, but it was one of my record collecting things here. Anyway, but this is a request for Daniel Kubacki. We go to Philadelphia here for Lee Andrews and the Hearts. This is their first of three on Ivan Ballin's Gotham record label. This record charted regionally. This was a number 10 record on WCAM in Camden, New Jersey. Let's go back to May 1956. It's going out to Daniel Kubacki, Lee Andrews and the Hearts on Gotham. It's called Blue Bird of Happiness.
Life is sweet, tender and complete.
Well, be like I, hold your head up high till you find the blue bird of happiness. You will find greater peace of mind, knowing there's a blue bird of happiness. And when he speaks to you, though your heart deep in blow, you will see a ray of light shine through, and so remember this life is no place till you find the blue bird of happiness. And when he speaks to you, though your heart deep in below, you will see a ray of light shine through, and so remember this life is no place till you find the blue bird of happiness.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki, the great Lee Andrews and the Hearts. That's their first release on the Gotham record label, Blue Bird of Happiness. That one there, May 1956. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasures show. And last week I played a request for Cheryl Morgan. She requested the Ketones. The Ketones on High Weiss's Old Town record label. The side I played was called... Oh, it ain't on here. It ain't on here. I forget. What was the name of the tune here? Johnny G's losing his mind. It was called "A Fool in Love." And when you don't get enough sleep, you forget your mind. It isn't on the list here, Charlene. But anyway, last week I played "A Fool in Love." Well, yes, it is, for Cheryl Morgan there last week. It's right on the first line. And it was listeners Daryl Letts, Andrew Turner, and Geronimo requested the flip side here. Now, I have the true first press of this, but it is trashed. I bought Joel Scherz's copy when I was first started collecting. I didn't pay a lot of money for it, like $2.10 when things were that cheap back then, but it's not really in great shape. So I didn't want to play Wonders of the World, so we'll give this one is really not that much better. I have a nice 78 of this, but it's good enough to spin. So let's send this one out to Daryl Letts, Andrew Turner, and Geronimo. These are the Ketones. The Ketones. The Ketones out of Newark, New Jersey. August 1957 on the Old Town record label. It's called Seven Wonders of the World.
You are one of the wonders of the world. Ooh.
Six, our hearts had to mix. Seven, will go to heaven, still in love. Oh, one, you're my only one. Two, I belong to you. Three, you belong to me. Four, five, it's great to be alive. Six, our hearts had to mix. Seven, will go to heaven, still in love. One, you're my only one. Two, I belong to you. Three, you belong to me. Four, five, great to be alive. Six, our hearts had to mix. Seven, will go to heaven, still in
That's going out to Andrew Turner, Darrell Letts, and Geronimo. Great tune by the Ketones, August 1957 release, Highweiss's Old Town record label. The first press is Wonders of the World. Then they added Seven Wonders of the World, which is the second press on that, and that's how I have it. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next, a request for Rick in Philly for Little Sammy Ward with the Alley Cats and Kitty. Now, this Little Sammy Ward is not to be confused with the Motown artist singing Sammy Ward, but Sammy is with this group, the Alley Cats and Kitty, who are really a group called the Doves. The Doves, and that's according to Marvin Potts. I don't know if that's the Doves that recorded on the States label with Artie Butler or not, but that's what he had in his book there, and it's on the PC record label, which stands for Personal Choice Recording, and it's not an easy record to find either, but it's going out to Rick in Philly, 1957, Little Sammy Ward with Alley Cats and Kitty on the PC label, Personal Choice label. It's called Begging for Love.
Sometimes I wonder, do you ever think of me? Sometimes I wonder, do you ever think of me? And do you ever wish things would be like they used to be? Every time I hear that cannonball blowing down the track, every time I hear that cannonball blowing down the track, I think about you, baby, and I feel like coming back.
That's going out to Rick and Philly, 1957 release for little Sammy Ward with Alley Cats and Kitty. That song called Begging for Love came out on the Personal Choice PC record label. Supposedly the group in the background is called The Doves. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in the year 1957. This is a request for listener Nick Nicola in our chat room. This group, I was introduced to this song by Gus Gossard. Gus Gossard was the one that played this on his, when I used to listen to him on the WPIX FM. And that's the first time I heard this song, and it's a great tune. I was finally able to get a copy. Spence actually offered me a copy a long time ago, but I love the tune. This is by request for Nick Nicola. They're called the Sonics, and I don't think they're associated with any of the other Sonics groups. Maybe I don't think they're associated with that Harvard group. I think they're another group there. But anyway, it's a great tune. This is for Nick Nicola, 1957, the Sonics on Extra. Their tune is called Once in a Lifetime.
Once in a lifetime, you'll find the right time to fall in love. Once in a great while, you'll find a sweet child, the one you're dreaming of.
All your life you've been searching to find someone to love.
Now that you've found her, build your life around her, make her yours to have and to hold. Your love only one time, that one in a lifetime. Only once will you say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
As by request for Nick Nicola, their Rare 45 on Ben Smith's Extra record label by the Sonics. The Sonics from 1957, a song entitled Once in a Lifetime. Now, what is Fred insinuating about the A107? Well, Fred, you know, the originals on this do say a 107A. Those are the originals. The bootlegs, for your information, if you have the bootleg of that, the bootleg on the Extra 107 says Clifton A-S on the bootleg. So that's how you know if you have an original or a bootleg. Fred's using his magnifying glass here on the dead wax. But yes, Fred, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. That is an original. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And up next is a request for listener Emnon. And it's a cool girl group. For many years, I thought this group was out of California, but no, it is not. It's on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin record label. And you would think that stuff coming out on the Aladdin record label, these groups were out of the West Coast. But Aladdin had a talent office in New York City and other cities too, by the way, but mainly New York City, and recording studios in New York City too. And they discovered this girl group from Brooklyn, New York. They're called the Crystals, not to be confused with the Phil Spector Crystals. They were a different group, and they were also from Brooklyn too, by the way. But we're talking a lot of years. This is February 1957 release, and this is a great two-sided 45. Amnon requested both, so tonight we'll hear this side from February 57. Let's give a listen to the Crystals on Aladdin. It's going out to Amnon. It's called I Do Believe. And you should too,
Henry
Fred.
Henry Ford, he got a fine Ford General Motors. He got Cadillacs, but I love my baby the way he is, and I love the way he rolls. Oh, diddly, he plays a fine tune, he really wails on that diddly daddy, but I love my baby the way he is, and I love the way he rolls. Love you, darling, always. Well, I need you, baby, 'cause you're my thrill. I want you, darling, 'cause you're so fine. Well, baby, will you please be mine? Henry Ford. Henry Ford, he got a fine Ford General Motors. General Motors got Cadillacs, but I love my baby the way he is, and I love the way he rolls. You're my thrill. I want you, darling, 'cause you're so fine. Well, baby, will you please be mine? Henry Ford. Henry Ford, he got a fine Ford General Motors. General Motors got Cadillacs, but I love my baby the way he is, and I love the way he rolls. The Moonglows, they really hold the tune, but it takes my baby for that cha-cha boom. So I love my baby the way he is, and I love the way he rolls, and I love the way he rolls.
So I'm sitting here and I'm going, what's wrong? George said in the chat room, Johnny G, you played the wrong side. And he's correct. I did play the wrong side because I forgot that these labels were reversed. The labels are reversed. I Love My Baby, you'll see, is on the flip side there. So that, that is not good for disc jockeys. That side there, that's going out to Amnon. We're gonna have to cross this out. I Love My Baby. And you know what? On the research that Charlene copied in there, I said that I had the labels reversed, and I didn't even play it. I just pulled the record out, and I didn't even take notice till right now. But anyway, that is the reason why. Anyway, that is the Crystals there, February 1957 on the Aladdin record label. It is not I Do Believe, because that is the ballad side. That's the up-tempo side. A song called I Love My Baby. Yes, it is. I mentioned General Motors in there. Did you hear that? General Motors. Now, why would a West Coast group even sing about General Motors? I don't know. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And here's a flip side from, I think I played the up-tempo side of this on the November 27th, 2021 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's on B. Castlin's whole record label. They were called The Sparks. And the jump side was called Run, Run, Run. But let's flip it over here. Flip it over here. It's got a nice rendition of this song, Danny Boy. It features Joel Allen. He's on lead, April 1957. These are the Sparks on the Hull record label, and their rendition of the tune Danny Boy.
Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes all calling from glen to glen and round the mountain side. Summer is gone and all the roses dying. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But call me back when the summer's in the winter, when all the valleys have wet with snow. Then you will hear to tell me that you love me, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Then you will to tell me that you love me, Danny boy. I love you so. Love you, love you, love you, love you so.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Sparks. Sparks on B. Castlin's Hull record label with their rendition of the tune Danny Boy, April 1957 release, with a Joel Allen on lead for that one. Let's continue here in 1957. We go to Harlem, New York for the Great Dubs. This is a request for Daniel Kubacki. Now, this record first release on Hiram Johnson's Johnson record label. I showed you my Johnson press, but I can't play. It does not play well. I bought it from Ronnie I, and it doesn't. It's polished much too much that the sound quality is not good. So it is not. I don't want to play it. I want to play something that sounds pretty nice. I could play it, but it doesn't sound. And the cool thing about it is the flip side, Don't Ask Me to Be Lonely, has the long ending. But I didn't pay a lot of money for that 45, but still not happy with it. So I got to get a nice copy of that record. But I did show you my original. But anyway. Then George Goldner picked it up for Gone Records, and of course it became the group's first release on the Gone label as the Dubs. Now, I showed you a shadow print Gone. That is the New York press. The press that I'm featuring is a West Coast press. That looks pretty cool. So you saw the block print Gone, and that is actually the best condition that I have. The other one doesn't play that bad, but it's a little grainy. I have multiple copies. I also have it on the Gone with the clown on it. That's the third press. But anyway, let's give it a spin. It's a great two-sided 45. This is by request for Daniel Kubacki, April 57. These are the Dubs on Gone. Cleveland Still, he is the lead singer on this. Their first of 6 on Gone for Daniel. The Dubs with Darling.
Darling, oh, hi, darling, I love you so. I love you so. Don't ever leave me. Don't ever leave me. Don't ever go. Don't ever go. I want you. Oh, I want you. All the rest of my life. All the rest of my life. Will you be with me? Will you be with me in paradise? You make my life complete. Oh, oh, darling, my darling, please hold me tight. Please hold me tight. When you are with me, things are alright. Things are alright. Things are alright.
B-sides here on the vinyl. Maybe that's not a B-side, because I know people that have said that they, excuse me, they've heard that on the radio. They have, I don't know, but those are the great dubs. But that's with a Cleveland Still On lead there, April 1957 release. I featured it on a West Coast Gone press. There, I'll show you again this block print here. Looks pretty cool. A song entitled Darling. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show as we stay in 1957. This is going out, a request for Cheryl Morgan. This group is out of Cleveland, Ohio, but they ended up on a label called Tress Records out of Flemington, New Jersey. And the lead singer of this group was Charles Hatcher. Now, Charles, of course, would have a big 1966 hit on the Rick Tick record label, if you're familiar with the song Stopper on Sight SOS, as Edwin Starr, but his real name was Charles Hatcher. And here he is at 15 years old, supposedly singing lead on this. And this group is called the Futuretones. This is going out to Cheryl Morgan, 1957, the Futuretones on the Tress label. It's called I Know.
I know that I love you so. But I'll have to let you go. That's why I'm writing this letter to you. Oh, I wish you could see the tears in my eyes. I have been crying since you left my side. I couldn't tell you all of these things to your face. I
going out to Cheryl Morgan there, the Futuretones, future member with Charles Hatcher, a.k.a. Edwin Starr on lead, 1957 on the Tress record label. I Know is the name of the tune. The flip is pretty good, too. Roll On is a cool jump tune. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasures show. And earlier, we heard from the Drifters. Clyde McFadder and the Drifters featured the tune Gone. And the Drifters return here with a request for Rick and Philly. This is their 14th release on the Atlantic record label. And this was their follow-up to Hypnotized. And this side features Johnny Moore on lead. So we go back to October 1957. This is for Rick and Philly, the Drifters on Atlantic. It's called Yodi Yaki. This is for Rick.
Well, I love you, yes, I love you, I must confess. Wait, mooga, mooga, how about that mess? Squeezing my hand as we walk along, squeezing my hand as I sing this song. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Well, I love chicken, I love it fried. I love you, baby, deep down inside. When you kiss me, it's a ding-dong ding. When you kiss me, I wanna sing. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi, yodi, yodi yaki, yodi yaki. 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 Yodi yaki, yodi yaki. You're fine as wine, my little Susie Q. I really dig the way you do. When we start dancing, there ain't nothing wrong. My heart start pounding, I sing this song. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. We're going downtown to dig a barbecue. That's the thing I really like to do. Eating pizza pies and drinking Coke. That's when everything is okie doke. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi. Yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi yaki, yodi.
There you go there. That's for Rick and Philly, the Drifters. Johnny Moore and the Drifters, October 1957. Kind of had like a theme of itchy twitchy feeling in there, even though this is before that release. I thought it was 1958, but anyway, the Drifters there going out to Rick and Philly on the Atlantic record label. Yodi Yaki is the name of the tune. Let's continue here as we move into 1958 now. This is a request for listener Joe Shacatano. We go out to California to Leon Renee's Class record label. As they mentioned, I think Nick mentioned it, a great two-sided 45, by the way. Now, this side, written by the lead singer, his name is Sammy Vance, and this one from September 1958, going out to Joe Shacatano. These are the Blenders on Class, and their tune called Little Rose. This is for Joe.
What I call you, my little rose. I never even knew your name, only that you wore a little rose. I'm in love, heaven above knows that I'm in love. Love you so much, so dearly.
forget my little rose. You asked me to try and forget you, and I tried and I tried to forget you. You said it was only infatuation. No, 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 I'm in love, my little rose. That's what I call you, my little rose. I never even knew your name, only that you wore a little rose. I'm in love. Heaven above knows that I'm in love. Love you so much, so dearly. I can't forget my little rose.
Sound of California here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Blenders. By request for Joe Shacatano, September 1958, Little Rose is the name of that tune on Leon Renee's Class record label. You know we're going to flip it over for next week. Let's continue now, and we are in 1958 now. In last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for Tom Shaughnessy by the Jesters, another cool group out of Harlem, New York. Now, Tom requested their third, a song called The Plea, which was a cover of the Chantels song, but I couldn't file this one back unless we heard the flip side. This one from January 1958, the great Adam Jackson on lead. Let's give a listen to the Jesters, Paul Winley's Winley record label. Their tune is called Oh Baby.
Oh baby, wow wow wow, oh baby, wow wow wow, oh baby, wow wow wow, baby, wow wow wow, 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 oh baby, don't try to get away from me. Oh, baby, don't try to get away from me. I'm yours, pretty baby, and I guess I'll always be. Oh, baby, I am trying to make love to you. Oh, baby, I am trying to make love to you. If you leave me, baby, I'll try to charity. Oh,
That's the sound of the Jesters here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Adam Jackson, the high falsetto lead there, their third of six on the Winley label, January 58. Song entitled Oh Baby. Great. The Jesters, both sides of their releases are all excellent, I'd have to say. We are in the year 1958 now. On the November 20th, 2021 Vinyl Treasure Show, I featured a 45 on George Braxton's Teen Life record label by a group called the Serenaders. It was called Love Me Now. That was the jump side. But let's give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. Now, this group is called the Serenaders. They're not the same group that recorded for Red Robin or Deluxe or Swing Time. Totally different group. This is from 1958, the Serenaders on Teen Life. It's a rare 45, and this is a cool ballad. It's called Gates of Gold.
Of the angels, and you came through the gates of gold, gates of yes, I asked if you were an angel, yes, an angel. Angel too. Then I saw you face to face, and then I knew I knelt down on my knees, oh yes, and I prayed to the of the angels, and you came through the gates of God. Gates of God.
They're called the Serenaders. They like that one there in the YouTube chat room. 1958 release on the Teen Life record label, Teen Life Records. That's a George Braxton label. He owned other labels too, by the way. But a song called Gates of Gold. Johnny G opened gates of expensive 45s here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Slowly and surely creeping up. You can watch Johnny G on your iTV like Tom Shaughnessy and Dave the Rave is, or you can also watch Johnny G on your phone or your PC, or you can tune in to the stream beginning at midnight on Oldies and More Radio. So stay tuned for that. Let's continue here for this group out of Gary, Indiana, and this is their only release. And for some reason, this record never took off. I think it could have been a hit. It really could. But Vivian Carter, she did not promote this record enough that I think that is the reason why. And then this group just disappeared. But it was co-written by the lead singer. His name is Hiawatha Burnett. Hiawatha Burnett, he's the lead singer on this, and I bought this from Seymour Simon. Seymour Simon sold me this record out of his collection. This one from December 1958. Give a listen to The Golden Rods. The Golden Rods on VJ Records. It's called Wish I Was Back in School. I do.
I wish I was back in school underneath the teacher's rules. I wish I was
That group called the Golden Rods. Whoops, the Golden Rods, December 1958. That one there, Vivian Carter's VJ record label. Wish I Was Back in School is the name of the tune. I wish I was back in school, but no, I wish I was retired. It cannot come soon enough. I will tell you that. I am counting the days. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I played a request for Nick Nicola. He requested the Catalinas out of New Haven, Connecticut, the side called Castle of Love. That one there came out on Michael Korda's Little record label, but Nick also requested the flip side as well as Evan Blatt. This was a request for Evan Blatt also. It features Jimmy Colwell on lead. So this is going out to Evan and Nick, June 1958. Give a listen to the Catalinas on the Little label. It's called Give Me Your Love.
Give me your love to remember you by. Dum-be-doo-be. Give me your kiss to remember you by. Give me your heart, not just a song.
As by request for Nick and Evan there, the Catalinas there. Great two-sided 45. The ballad is great. Jimmy Colwell and the Catalinas, June 1958 on the Little record label. Give Me Your Love is the name of the tune. The master was later sold to OK Records, so if you want the cheaper copy of this, you can buy it on OK by the Buddies in 1959. It's the same two recordings. The master sold to OK Records. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Here's a request from our number one California listener, Matey Campoy. You all know this duo from the Bronx, New York. They were Robert Carr and Johnny Mitchell. They had 16 releases on High Weiss's Old Town Records between the years 1956 and 1962. You know their biggest, a classic called We Belong Together, which got me a copyright strike, by the way, one year that I played it. But Matey requested their seventh, and this one charted number 38 on KOBY out in San Francisco, California. We go back to August 1958 for Robert and Johnny. This is by request for Matey. This is on the Old Town label. It's called I'm Truly, Truly Yours. This is for Matey.
I'm yours. you. My king, my arms, my heart belongs to you. Believe that everything I do, whoa, whoa, I do just for you. No one can love you the way that I love you. I love you so, oh my.
Darling, please kiss me.
Put a kiss upon my lips,
just like this.
your arms around me tight, and give me the key to your heart. I'm yours, darling, I'm truly, truly yours. Darling, I'm truly, truly yours. Whoa, I belong to you. My kiss, my arms, my heart belongs to you. Believe that everything I do, whoa, whoa, I do for you. I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours, I'm yours.
As Robert and Johnny by request from Matey Campo, actually an old request that I had. I kind of saved it up because it's been a while since I played it, and I don't like to play them too close together. So many great great records to play, and but I wanted to hear that. About time to play that record from Matey. August 58 release, Robert and Johnny on the Old Town record label. I'm Truly, Truly Yours. Johnny G is Truly, Truly Yours every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. and sometimes till 1:30 and sometimes till 2 o'clock. But we're going to finish tonight. Don't have as many pulled for tonight. But again, thank you all for tuning in. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show. We'll be going live on the Oldies and More Radio Network beginning at midnight. And you can send me your requests at vinyltreasures@aol.com. I compile those requests. And also, if you have a favorite Christmas group harmony record, send it to me. And if I have the 45, I will play it on my Christmas show on the 25th at 10 o'clock. We'll be here late playing Christmas music, if you're not all Christmased out by then. But let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go to Newark, New Jersey for this next group. They had 4 releases on Bobby Robinson's Fury record label, and this is their second one that I first heard on the Gus Gossard show. You know, Gus Gossard, when I used to tune into him, he was on WPIX FM. What was 101.9 FM was the station, and he was on, I think, on Saturdays from 6 to midnight and Sundays from 5 to 11. And he was the curly-headed kid in the second row. That's a lot of music to play on Saturday and Sunday that I used to tune into on my transistor radio. But anyway, let's give a listen to this tune. This was number 28 on WINS here in New York City, May 1958. The Kodoks with Pearl McKinnon on lead on the Fury label. Another great two-sided 45, but here's the up-tempo side. It's called OG, Oh Gosh.
Won't you tell me what you're thinking of?
I want you to love me. There's no one above me. Love me the way you love me best. I will hold and squeeze you tight, morning, afternoon, and night. Loving you will be my happiness. All my love is yours to take. Kisses taste like angel cake. Hope my kisses taste
Pearl McKinnon and the Kodoks there, May 1958 release on Bobby Robinson's Fury record label. Oh gee, oh gosh, great two-sided 45 there, so stay tuned for the flip side next week. We continue here. We are playing records out of the year 1958, and here's one requested by listener Joe Shacatano, a group known as the El Toros. Now this group, they are from Alliance, Ohio, not to be confused with the group that recorded for the Duke label, who were from St. Louis, Missouri. Now, this El Toros group had this lone release that came out on the Fraternity record label, which was located out of Cincinnati, Ohio. So this one's from June 1958. This is by request for Joe Shacatano. These are the El Toros on Fraternity. It's called Love is Love.
Love is love, no matter what you say. Love is love, it has always been that way. Oh yes, my darling, can't you see, can't you see? Love is love. Love is love, love is love. Love is love. Darling, nothing could ever be. Oh yes, my darling, can't you see, can't you see? Love is love. Love is love. Oh, well, you know I want you, know I need you. Darling, please come home. And stay. Oh, love is love. Believe in me. Oh, without you, darling, nothing could ever be. Oh, yes, my darling, can't you see, can't you see? Love is love. Love is love. Love is love.
That's a great tune by request for Joe Shacatano, the El Toros, June 1958, on the Fraternity record label, song entitled Love is Love. I have a promo of that too, but the stock copy plays better on that one. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And up next, a request for listener Amnon. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Jan and Deed's big 1959 hit on the Dore record label, a song called Baby Talk. But this is the original version of the tune done by this group from the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn, and it was written by the group member Melvin Schwartz. He was a member of this group called the Laurels, and the lead singer on this, his name is Roy Robinson. This one from 1959. This is by request for Amnon. These are the Laurels on the Spring record label. This is the original version of Baby Talk.
Well, I am only 5 years old and my baby 3, but I know that she's a girl, just you wait and see. And when I say I love my girl, she replies to me with that, which means to say she loves me in baby talk. Say
As by request for listener Amnon, those are the Laurels from 1959. It's on the Spring record label. That's the original version of Baby Talk. Now, Brian, I'm going to explain to you what is the first press of this. Marvin Pod, you need to listen also on this because for you collectors out there, the true first press, the address is up at the top on Spring Records. I'll show it to you again. If the address is to the right that says manufactured by Power Records, that is also an original, but that was pressed after the release of the Jan and Dean single. So they pressed them up again in 1959, and Power Records, they evidently promoted it for them or whatnot, but the true first presses have the address on the top, and that's what it should be. It's not to the right. You can go look on 45 Cat. There is another release on there there's a single artist, I forget, Vinny Catalano, maybe that's him, but that is after this press. That's not before this. The numbering sequence is not right. This is the second record on the label, and the address is under the label. That is the first press. And you want to debate me on it? I'm open to debate. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show for this next group from Nashville, Tennessee, and it's a request for Nick Nicola. Now, originally this group recorded as the Seniors on Ernie Young's Excello record label. If you know the song "Why Did You Leave Me Back with Slewfoot Sue," that was in 1958. But then they changed their name to the Hi-Fis, and they released this tune on the Montel record label. Now, a member of this group is Bobby Hebb. Bobby Hebb, you know, he had a big hit in 1966 with Sonny, plus some other cool records on the Phillips label. He was a member of this group, and he's playing guitar on this, supposedly. But anyway, this is the lead singer on here I had here. Yeah, Jimmy Church. Jimmy Church is the lead singer on this here. These are the Hi-Fis by request from Nick Nicola. This is 1959 on the Montel label. It's called I'm So Lonely.
So lonely, I'm so lonely, I'm in misery. You know this is not the way I want to be, but I will try, I will try not to care. Got you on my mind, I just can't help it, darling. I guess I'm just that kind, but I will try, I'm gonna try not to care. Try not to care. Oh, I thought that I would be the king, and I knew, I just knew you would be my queen. But you played me for the joker, and you played all of the scene. I'm so lonely, I'm waiting for your return, for it's your love that keeps me concerned. I will try, I will try, try not to care.
It's a great Great tune there by request for Nick Nicola there. Those are the Hi-Fis. The Hi-Fis with Jimmy Church on lead, 1959 release on the Montel record label, Montel Records out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Song entitled I'm So Lonely. Great request, Nick. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we are in the year 1959. Now, last week I played a request for Daniel Kubacki, a song called Run Fast by the Unique Teens. The Unique Teens were they out of Brooklyn, New York, I think. Carl Pettis, he was the lead singer, and Darrell Letts and George Tompkins asked Johnny G to flip it over here, so we're going to flip that 45 over from April 1959. This is on the Dynamic record label. These are the Unique Teens with Carl Pettis on lead. It's called What You Know New.
Do what do do.
What you know, what you know, what you know, what's happening, baby, what you know new, come on and tell me what you know new, you look good, baby, what you know new, what you know, what you know, what you know, what are you gonna say to me, what are you gonna do, I've got a whole lot of loving, I've been saving just for you, what you know new, hey baby, what you know new, what you know, what you know, what you know.
Hey baby, what you know, do what's it now? Hey baby, what you know, do tell me. Hey baby, what you know, do what's it now? Hey baby, what you know, come on, baby.
As by request for George Tompkins and Darrell Letts there. Those are the Unique Teens, April 1959 release on the Dynamic record label. What You Know New is the name of the tune. Be careful, you collectors out there, the really thin press, those are not originals. They're used original paper, original stampers, and pressed them up. I forget who did that, but somebody did to make them look like originals, but they're really thin, razor thin. And we'd like to welcome in the Oldies and More Radio Network into the Vinyl Treasure Show. Thank you all for tuning in to the Vinyl Treasure Show. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. and definitely longer, getting in all cool requests. Thank you all. If you'd like to make a request, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Let's continue now. We are in 1959, and up next, a request for Matey Campboy. This duo from El Monte, California. They are Douglas Salamanca and Freddie Ruiz, and they're recording as Doug and Freddie, and this is their first release. It's on the Rendezvous record label, and they both wrote this tune, arranged by Renee Hall, and he was part owner of the Rendezvous record label. We go back to July 1959. By request for Matey Campboy, Doug and Freddie on Rendezvous. It's called A Lover's Plea.
Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da da da. Say what you like, say what you like, think what you might, think what you might. I'm gonna hold you and squeeze you tight, squeeze you tight. You might not think my
love is true. But stay with me, darling, and I'll prove it to you. You like to love, you like to love. Your love isn't strong, isn't strong. Please, please, baby, baby, stop doing me wrong, doing me wrong. For I wanted you, oh so long. And if I can't have you, I cannot go on. Hold me, won't you hold me? Won't squeeze me, squeeze me. Never let me go, let me go. Oh, love me, won't you love me? And kiss me, for I love you so. So think it over, maybe someday, you realize what I tried to say, and then you want me, and then you know that I loved you so.
Duets here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's by request from 80 Camp Boy. That's Doug and Freddie. Doug and Freddie released in July of 1959. That's on the Rendezvous record label. It's called A Lover's Plea. They have another one. They have two other releases, I think, in 61 on K&G and Finer Arts Records. I have that one on Finer. I might have the K&G too, if I'm not mistaken. Let's continue. Here we are in 1959. Now, last week, I played a request for Nick Nicola by the Sonics. This Sonics group out of Newark, New Jersey, featured it, excuse me, on the Harvard label, the original label with the flag on it. That's the True First Press. The song was called This Broken Heart, an excellent ballad. I think it was Floyd Flowers in our YouTube chat room that asked Johnny G to flip it over. So we're going to send this one out to Floyd Flowers. It's April 1959. It features Donald Sheffield on lead. This group is known as the Sonics on the Harvard label. It's called You Made Me Cry. This is for Floyd. As by request for Floyd Flowers there, those are the Sonics. As I lost my place. Here we go. The Sonics from April 1959 on the Harvard record label You Made Me Cry, with the Donald Sheffield on lead. The flip side, a great ballad called This Broken Heart. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and we are in 1959. Here's a request for Evan Blatt. Evan, this is an old request for you. Finally found the 45, as this artist recorded on many different labels. His initial release came out in 1957 on the Arrow label, but this side that I'm featuring first came out on Glow Hill, and this first came out on Glow Hill label out of Newark, New Jersey, but then it was picked up by Unart Records, and this became his second of 3 on the Unart label. I think that's what that reads, but anyway, his name is Bobby Long. This tune written by Joe Seneca, who wrote a lot of great tunes, by the way. Joe Seneca, he was also an actor. He played in the remake of The Blob. He was I think he was like the mad scientist that came toward the end that wanted to capture the thing. But that was Joe Seneca. He was a singer and a writer, and he wrote this song. This is September 59, Bobby Long, and I think Girl Group backing him up on this. It's on the Unart label that I'm featuring it, but it's styrene. I hate styrene, just letting you know ahead of time. It's called Calling Parentheses for the One I Love. This is for Evan.
Darling dear, can you hear me calling for the one I love? Here I stand, my fate in your hand, calling for the one I love. Since you've been gone, I'm all alone, calling for the one I love. Come back, please. I'm up on my knees, calling for the one I love. And darling, you're the one I love. I'm so blue and so sad. I need your love so bad. Come back, please. I'm up on my calling for the one I love. For the one I love. Calling for the one I love.
As by request for Evan Blatt, Bobby Long. Bobby Long, September 1959. I had it on the Unart record label. Calling Parentheses for the One I Love is the name of that tune. You see, somebody played that with a bad needle halfway through, and then it sounded better at the end. That's the problem with styrene 45s. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show for this next request for Cheryl Morgan. This gal, born Dolores Evans, up in Chicago, Illinois, had 4 top 20 Billboard pop hits and 18 top 20 R&B hits. hits. Her two biggest were songs I'm sure you know, Jim Dandy and I Cried a Tear. In all, though, she had 33 releases on the Atlantic label during her career. Now, Cheryl requested her 17th, which was written by Neil Sedaka and Howie Greenfield. And this one here from March of 1959, this charted number 33 on Billboard, number 5 on the Billboard R&B chart. And this is Miss Laverne Baker. Laverne Baker going out to Cheryl from March 59 on Atlantic. It's called I Waited Too Long.
I waited too long, and now we're apart. I never told you what I feel in my heart. Somebody new has come along. I was a fool for waiting too long. My life without you won't be the same. I should have never played that waiting game. I'm so alone now that you're gone. I was a fool for waiting too long. I wasn't smart, I wasn't wise, and now I'm by myself with tears in my eyes. I made my life a life of regret. I should have never played hard to get, and now I know I was so wrong. I was a fool for waiting too long. I was a fool for waiting too long. Too long.
That's Miss Laverne Baker there from March 1959. That's going out to Cheryl Morgan. I Waited Too Long is the name of that one. That one there on the Atlantic record banner. Let's stay in 1959 with a request for Tom Shaughnessy. This group formed while they were attending a high school in Charlotte, North Carolina. And this record was played a lot on WHIL 1430 AM out of Boston, Massachusetts. And it's the group's debut single. They're known as the Delicardos. It was written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Chris Harris Jr. So this is going out to Tom Shaughnessy, the Delicardos, from September 1959 on the LG record label. It's called Letter to a Schoolgirl.
Dear schoolgirl, I'm writing you this letter in the words of a song, and here's the reason why. I love you so much, my darling. I want the memory to linger on. Dear schoolgirl, the day we met, I thought it was infatuation, but when I held you tight, I felt a strange sensation. I love you so, I love And so I'll close. Sincerely yours.
Yeah, those are the Delicardos by request. For Tom Shaughnessy, Ira mentioned a Gus Gossard favorite. Yeah, he used to play that record quite a bit. The Delicardos September 59 release. Letter to a Schoolgirl is the name of the tune. Came out on the LG record label. And yes, it's styrene, but that one plays nice. Norm had a nice copy of that, Brian. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we move into 1960 now. As we go back out to the West Coast, this group was named after a make of Cadillac car. I'm going to sell my Cadillac, my 2010 Cadillac DeVille, by the way. And that's what we're talking about here. That's this group called the DeVilles. Their first release was in 1958 on the Aladdin record label. And this is their second overall. Wait, this is their second. No, their second was in 59 on the Orbit label. This was their third that came out on the Talent label. If they're all the same, I don't know. But this one is out of Los Angeles, California, and it's a request for listener Matey Campboy. This is for Matey Campboy. This one from March of 1960. These.
For you are my guide when you're by my side. Goddess of angel, my only love. Queen of my heart, you'll always be. Never know one but you for me. I love you so much. Goddess of angel, my only love. If I own the world just for a day, you would only have to command. It would be so give such a treat and place it before your hand. Don't ever leave me or say goodbye, 'cause if you do, you know I'll cry. For when you've gone, why should I live on? Goddess of angel, angel, my love, my only love, my only love.
As by request from Matey Campboy there, those are the DeVilles. DeVilles from March 1960 on the Talent record label, Goddess of Angels, My Only Love. There's some disconnection here. There was somehow the cable disconnected, then reconnected again, both on the Oldies and More stream and also on the YouTube. So you may see some, I see it's got problematic issues now. So I hope we don't run into no uploading issues. I don't know what's going on with the cable. Like I told you, they're on thin ice with me. I'm ready to jump any minute. So I know I'm gonna get with the fiber optics on Verizon. I'm ready to go there. I'm sure I'll get a great deal from Verizon. But anyway, it should be streaming now. It says it's excellent condition. So it should be okay. So I don't know what's going on. But I am going to sell the Cadillac. I know they don't. Unfortunately, I got to get a brake job done on the Cadillac. I don't want to spend $1,000 on a 2010 Cadillac DeVille. So Cordova, is it Cord? what is that, Cornova or Cordova? They're pretty good. My brother sold his SUV, got $4,000 more than the dealer. So, I'm going to give them a call. They're going to come here and pick up the car. That's how it's going to work. I'm going to sell my 2010 Cadillac DeVille. But anyway, that's for Matey Campoy, the DeVilles from March 1960 on the talent label Goddess of Angels. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I played a request for Nat Papagallo. He wanted the Blendtones out of Philadelphia. And the side I played was called She's Gone. Nat Papagallo requested that tune. I think it was George Tompkins that asked Johnny G to flip it over. This is on the first label, the Donnell record label out of Philadelphia. We go back to December 1960. The Blendtones on Donnell. This is for George Tompkins. It's in parentheses, turn on those, close parentheses, lights, please. This is for George.
You know I went to see her chick just the other night. As soon as I sit in the chair, she turned out the lights and I said, lights please, you're squeezing me. Lights please, stop teasing me. So long that I can see, please turn on those lights. I got up from my seat, I started to the door. She held me tight around my waist and pulled me across the floor. And I said, lights please, you're squeezing me. Lights please, stop teasing me. So long that I can see, please turn on those lights. Baby, I know I hate to be alone, but I really got to get on home. Let's say goodnight and hold my sleeve. I hate to make it baby, but I really gotta leave. I started to the door to make my getaway, but when she said I loved her so I knew I had to stay. She said, lights please, you're squeezing me. Lights please, stop teasing me. Completely outside, please turn on those lights. Baby, I know I hate to be alone, but I really got to get on home. Let's say goodnight and let go my sleep. I hate to make it, baby, but I really got to leave. I started to the door to make my getaway, but when she said I loved her so I knew I had to stay. She said, lights please, won't turn on. Lights please, with you completely outside. Please turn on those. Please turn on those. Please turn on those
That's going out to George Tompkins there. Those are the Blendtones there. Bill Keith, he's the lead singer there. December 1960, featured it on the Donnell record label. That is the true first press for that. Turn on those, in parentheses, lights please. You can also get this on the Chickar label. I have it on Chickar. Also a third press on Imperial Records, which I also have. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Here's a request for Evan Blatt. Evan, I tell you I had a lot of your requests tonight as we head to the Bronx, New York with this group called The Desires. Now, there is also a group on Seville called The Desires, which was also from the Bronx, but they were two different groups. This group's only released on the 20th Century label, and this is a cover song. This song was from 1931, first done by a group called The Aristocrats, but this one is arranged by Vinny Catalano. These are called The Desires from March 1960 on 20th Century Fox Records for Evan. It's called I Don't Know Why, parentheses, I Just Do.
I don't know why I love you like I do. I
just do. I don't know why you thrill me like you do. I don't know why you just do. You never seem to want my romancing. The only time you hold me is when we're dancing. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why I just do.
As by request for Evan Blatt there, The Desires, March 1960 on 20th Century Fox Records, I Don't Know Why, parentheses, I Just Do. As for Evan Blatt, I don't know why I just play my 45s every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on YouTube and Oldies and More Radio. Hope you're digging on the tune. Sorry for the buffering. I don't know what happened with that, but everything seems to be working okay so far. But let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go to Brooklyn, New York, with a request for Joe Shacatano. He requested Little Anthony and the Imperials on George Goldner's End record label. This is their 8th of 14 releases on End, and this charted number 6 on KUDU out of Ventura, California. We go back to March 1960, Little Anthony and the Imperials on End Records, and their rendition of the tune My Empty Room.
Why must I sit here in my empty room? Why did you leave me, darling? Oh, so soon. Was it a game, dear? Am I to blame, dear? Your memory lingers on like sweet perfume. Every time you touch me, I would chill. Every kiss you gave me was a thrill. I sit here in my empty room and cry. My heart is breaking since you said goodbye. Oh, how it's yearning. Oh, how it's burning. I need you oh so much that I could die. I could die. Please set me free, dear. Come
March 1960 release there for Little Anthony and the Imperials. That's by request for Joe Shacatano, My Empty Room, George Goldner's N record label for that one. That's their 8th release on the N label. Let's continue here. In 1960, here's a request for Rick in Philly. This is on Clarence Johnson's CJ record label. This group would later on record in 1961 on the Revival label as Ben Little and the Four Kings. But prior to that, they were just known as the Four Kings, and this was their debut single on the CJ record label, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Ben Little. This is by request for Rick in Philly, November 1960 release, The Four Kings on CJ. It's called I Don't Want Nobody But You.
I don't want nobody but you. You can't treat me sweet the way you do it. You know my love for you is like a stone wall, loving and a kissing sweetie all day long. I don't want nobody but you. When I first saw you, baby, I couldn't stand still, reeling and rocking back on my heels. I want to get close to put my arm around you, and tell you that my love can be so true. I don't want nobody but you. Baby, if you only let me be a man, and then I can make you understand. Sweetie, if you only be my girl, I will take you all around this world. Now I'm sitting here, baby, talking to you. You found out that I could be so true. We can get married any old time. All you have to do is make up your mind. I don't want nobody but you. Baby, if you only let me be a man, and then I can make you understand. Sweetie, if you only be my girl, I will take you all around this world. Now I'm sitting here, baby, talking to you. You found out that I could be so true. We can get married any old time. All you have to do is make up your mind. I don't want nobody but you. I don't want nobody but you. Sweetie, I don't.
As by request for Rick in Philly there, that is the Four Kings. Four Kings with a little Ben Little on lead there, November 1960. That's their debut single on the CJ record label. I Don't Want Nobody But You. Got here in the nick of time. Yes, I did. Let's continue here with 1960 45s. And last week I played a request for Matey Campboy by Etta and Harvey. They are Etta James and Harvey Fuqua of previously of the Moonglows. And the song was called If I Can't Have You. But listener Daryl Letts asked Johnny G to flip it over. This was another record that used to be played by Gus Gossard. He used to play this flip side here, and I like the tune, and hopefully you do too. From July 1960, give a listen to Etta and Harvey. This is on the Chess record label. Their tune is called My Heart Cries. This is for Daryl.
tree, counting every star shining overhead, it seems. I was like a shepherd boy, searching for his lamb, ran everywhere. You came, oh, yeah, you captured me. You and all your charm, oh, yes, you set me free. We kissed and the world was all aglow. And my heart cried, oh, I love you so. Then my heart cried, oh, I love you so. Then my heart cried, oh, I love you so. Love you so. Love you so.
As by request for Daryl Letts, as the wind is howling out here and it may be causing buffering issues with my cable company. It's gotta be, because we were fine. And I see that it goes buffering then for a little bit. I got a copyright strike on that record, I think. Possibly. That's Etta James and Harvey Fuqua, July 1960 on the Chess record label. Song entitled My Heart Cries. Let's continue here. We are in 1960. And, excuse me, here's a request for listener Mnon. Have no information on this group called the Crystals. They have this lone release on Bob Shad's Brent record label. Now, there is a Crystals group that recorded for Cub Records, and they were another group before that. Not Cub Records, yeah, and also for a Metro, I think. But this is a different group. This one's from April of 1960. This is for Mnon. They're called the Crystals. It's on Bob Shad's Brent record label. It's called Gypsy Ribbon for Mnon. that group called the Crystals. Crystals from April 1960. It's on the Brent record label, going out to Amnon. Gypsy Ribbon is the name of the tune. The flip side is like some instrumental, which was the A side, but that is the B side of the record. Not bad, really, not bad calypso for a song there. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And last week I played a request for Matey Campboy by the Intruders, a great group out of Philadelphia. Played the intended B side of their single on the Gowan record label. It was called Come Home Soon. And let's give a listen to the intended A side before we file it back down in the no humidity basement. It features Sam Little Sonny Brown on lead, and this is actually a cover song. This was first recorded by a group called the Plurals on the Wanger label in 1958. This one from December of 61. These are the Intruders on the Gowan record label with their rendition of the tune I'm Sold, parentheses, on You.
Sam, put your arms there, oh what a thrill. No one felt like this since Jack felt for you. I'm so, baby, so on you. Sam, put your arms there, oh what a thrill. No one felt like this since Jack felt for you. I'm so, baby, so on you. Since I took inventory of the charm that you possess, don't say I'm old when I say I'm so on your sweet caress. Let's keep a supply of dreams on the shelf and stack them up high for you and myself. I'm so, baby, so on you. Since I took inventory of the charm that you possess, don't say I'm old when I say I'm so on your sweet caress. Let's keep a supply, dreams on the shelf and stack them up high for you and myself. I'm so, baby, so on you.
Those are the Intruders there. Intruders with Sam Little Sonny Brown on lead. December 1961, song entitled I'm Sold, parentheses, on You. And that one there on the Gowan record label. Of course, you know they would have a big, big hit, Cowboys to Girls, in 1966, early 67, I forget. But those are the Intruders. Let's move in. Wow, actually, we are in 1961, and this is a request for Matey Campboy. Matey requested a very rare 45 out of Ecorse, Michigan. Ecorse, Michigan is where this label is from. It's the Card record label. I have two records on this Card label, but this is by far the hardest to find. And I really can't tell you much. Maybe, Amnon, you have information about this group, but they're called the Vandellos, VAN space DELLOS. It's 1961. It's on the Card record label. This is going out to Matey Campboy. The song is called Bring Back.
Why don't you bring back your love to me? Bring back all my memories. Bring back the only love I need. Ooh, why don't you
45s here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's by request from Matey Campway, a rare record by the Vandellos. On the Card record label 1961 release, it's called Bring Back. That's what Johnny G tries to do, bring back memories to all you collectors out there and lovers of the music. And hope I'm bringing back fond memories to you. Sometimes, music is very inspirational and uplifting. And that's what I say. I always turn to music, even when I'm really depressed. Today, Barbara, she was crying. Her cat was, they think that the cat has lymphoma. She's not eating. She's got to bring it tomorrow. I feel really bad for her because she's so upset. I told her, don't worry. Really don't worry about it. Hopefully, you don't know now with them. My brother, same thing. He's got a boxer that has lymphoma, but he's been taking it for treatments, and he's been doing well. But, eventually it's not going to turn out well, but he's trying to. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We head to Philadelphia, PA for this next group as... This group would record as the Tramps in the early 1970s, but in the 1960s, they were the Cordells, and they also recorded as the Exceptions and also the Whirlwinds. But here's one they do on the Bargain record label. It features Jimmy Ellis on lead, and the bass for the group, his name is Earl Young. And this one from January 1961, these are the Cordells on Bargain Records. It's called The Beat of My Heart.
Well, the beat of my heart tells me that we'll never part. We'll be together forever and ever. You make my heart go. So tell me you'll always want me there, that I can say you're mine. You make my heart go. Ah, you're my little star that shines in the night. While I'm sitting here holding you tight, I need your love like the earth needs the sun. And that is why you know I love you so. So the beat of my heart tell me that we'll never part. We'll be together forever and ever. You make my heart go.
Well, now you're my little star that shines in the night. While I'm standing here holding you so tight, I need your love like the earth needs the sun. Yeah. Well.
So the beat of my heart tell me that we'll never part. We'll be together forever and ever. You make my heart go.
Those are the Cordells from January 61. The first go-round of this record on the Bargain label, The Beat of My Heart, they re-recorded the song in 1964 as the Whirlwinds, and the song was called Heartbeat, came out on the Philips record label. I have that record, so I can play that one too. I think Ira likes that side, so we'll pull that one out. I apologize for the buffering, folks, but it looks like that, it looks like it's okay, but it told me that the widget came up, so I got to tell you, it's got to be the wind, because same thing, I have the TV on in the background here and it breaks up, but it only does that when there's a lot of wind, and that's the problem. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Last week I played a request for Tom Shaughnessy, this group out of Brooklyn, New York called The Illusions on the Ember record label. The song was called How High Is the Mountain. But let's flip the 45 over before we file it back down in the no humidity basement. This one from January 1961 on Al Silver's Ember record label. These are the Illusions on Ember. It's called Can't We Fall in Love?
Why can't...
Wait. It's not good. There you go.
Why can't we fall in love? I would give my heart to only you. Yes, you'd say that you love me too, and forever we'll be true. Why can't it be tonight? No, don't say it's not right. Why can't we fall in love? I pray to the Lord above. I would give you everything your heart desires, but to have you, darling, is my one desire. I don't even know your name, but I love you just the same. Why can't we fall in love? I pray to the Lord above. I would give you everything your heart desires, but to have you, darling, is my one desire. I don't even know your name, but I love you just the same. Why can't we fall in love? I pray to the Lord above.
That's a great tune there. I like that side. The Illusions there, January 1961 on the Ember record label. Can't We Fall in Love is the name of the tune. We are in the year 1961. Let's go to Wilmington, Delaware, to Vince Rago's Universal label, as this is a request for Nick Nicola, and he requested Lonnie and the Crisis. Now, the lead singer, Lonnie, his name is Alonzo Jr. Wise. So this is going out to Nick Nicola, November 1961, Lonnie and the Crisis on Universal Records. It's called Bells in the Chapel. This is for Nick. As by request for Nick Nicola there, great two-sided 45. It has Christmas record on the foot. Lonnie and the Crisis there, November 1961 on the Universal record label. Now, Lonnie, his name is Alonzo Jr. Wise, and he also... Lonnie also recorded with the Matadors on the Chavis label in 1965, believe it or not. They were out of Wilmington, Delaware. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Here's a request for Rick in Philly. Now, after the Five Keys left Capitol Records, they signed with the Sid Nathan's King record label, and for the most part, Thomas Threat became the lead singer of the group, and he is doing lead on this one. This is their seventh of 9 releases on the King record label, and a request for Rick in Philly, January 1961, the Five Keys on King. Give a listen to their tune. It's called You Broke the Only Heart. This is for Rick.
You broke the only heart that ever loved you. You broke it in two. You broke it in two.
As by request for Rick in Philly, the Great Five Keys. I always, I looked up the spelling, the pronunciation of this, and George says the H is silent, treat. So Charlene, please mark that. T-R-E-A-T, treat is how you pronounce it. When I went to pronunciation.com, and they didn't have one of them that said treat. But again, it's how the person calls himself. So evidently that George says it's treat. So Charlene, I need you to put down in parentheses treat under that lead singer and do it in the database, because I keep on messing that up all the time. But anyway, those are the Great Five Keys from January 61 by request for Rick in Philly. You Broke My Only Heart. What a great record that is on the King record label. We are in 1961. We go back to California with a request for George Tompkins. This gal would later on in the 1970s record with her group called Love Squad, but her debut single was in 61 on the Skylar label. I think you requested that one too, Evan, if I'm not mistaken. But I wasn't so crazy for that Skylar release, but I am for this one. Then she followed that Skylar up with this release on the Raystar label with a group called The Impossibles. So this is going out to George Tompkins. I know Matey likes this record also. But let's give a listen to Linda Carr and The Impossibles from July 61 on the Raystar record label. It's called Shy One.
Shy one, shy one, shy one.
As early Linda Carr and The Impossibles there by request for George Tompkins. July 61 release on the Raystar record label, song entitled Shy One. She has other releases on SAR, DCP, Ranwood, and Bell later on into the 1960s, but early Linda Carr. Let's move into 1962 with a request for Tom Shaughnessy. This song was from 1966, performed by Julie Andrews from the musical My Fair Lady, but let's give a listen to this version by a group called the Souvenirs. The Souvenirs on Jap Curry's Inferno record label out of New York City. This one from 1962 going out to Tom Shaughnessy. The Souvenirs on Inferno with their rendition of the tune I Could Have Danced All Night.
Spread my wings and do 1,000 things. Oh, I did.
100,000 things that I've never tried before. When she began to dance with me, I come a
As by request for Tom Shaughnessy there, those are the Souvenirs. Souvenirs on the Inferno record label with their rendition of the tune I Could Have Danced All Night. That one there from 1962. Johnny G could have played the records all night, but I don't like this buffering going on. But we're going to finish here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 6 more 45s to go here before we sign off here. And this next record, Rare 45, is a request for Evan Blatt. This group, they're from Asbury Park, New Jersey. They were started by Ray DeRouge. Ray DeRouge, they were called the Darches. They were named after a meatpacking company that was called Marcel Darche, and they recorded with several different names. Ray and the Darches. They have that one on Al John. They also have one on the Buzzy record label, and this one, another one on Al John, where they backed up singer Ben White. And Ben White, he was a friend of Philly disc jockey Jocko Henderson, and he wanted to sing a song to dedicate to him. And this was the result. And this isn't an easy record to find. Of course, I lucked out to find this at the Yonkers Raceway Flea Market for 10 cents. I found this with a Connie and the Decoys 45. Sometimes Johnny G's got to be lucky. You know, I'm dishing out $3,000 for records later on. I got to get some easy ones, but this was an easy one. It's from September 62. This is by request for Evan Blatt. This is Ben White and the Darches on Al John Records. They're singing about disc jockey Jocko Henderson. It's called Jocko Sent Me. It's for Evan.
Jocko sent me to your door. No need to search for love anymore. I found the only one to make my dreams come true. Jocko sent me, here I am. You're included in my loving plans. Come on, pretty baby, make all my dreams come true. How could he know I love your charm? How could he know you'll melt in my arms? One thing is certain, one thing is true. There's no one pretty baby to compare with you. Jocko sent me, I'm yours alone. Love me, baby, I'll never roam. So let's name the day when all
That's going out to Evan Blatt there. Rare 45 on the Al John record label, September 62 release. For Ben White and the Darches, song entitled Jocko Sent Me. Johnny G spinning your 45s, those of you tuned in on the Oldies and More Radio and Network, and also those of you watching the buffering YouTube, again with the wind. It's kind of died down a little bit, but that's problematic, and I'm not happy with that, so I apologize in advance. Let's stay in 1962 now with the lead singer of the Gems, the great Gems that recorded for the Drexel label out of Chicago, Illinois. He actually had 2 solo releases on Drexel. I know I have one of them. Maybe I have both, but here's another solo effort from 1962, came out on the Boss record label. Let's go back to March 1962 for Ray Pettis on the Boss label. It's called Power of Love.
Love, love, love will make a weak man strong. Love, love, love will make a short life long. Love, love, love will make a blind man see. Love, true love. History, change history. I was weak, so weak, and then you came along. You offered your love to me. I never knew I could be so strong. Love, 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 love will take the wet from rain. Love, love, love will ease the hunger pain. Love, 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 look what it's done for me.
That's the great Ray Pettit. He was lead singer of the Gems, a group backing him up on that. Don't know who they are, but that's from March 1962 on the Boss record label. Power of Love is the name of the tune. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in the year. We move into 1963 now. Last week, I played a request for listener Eddie Brown by the Reminiscence, a song called Oh Let Me Dream, and it was from 1963 on the Day record label out of Lyndhurst, New Jersey. This comes on colored vinyl. I didn't have it on colored vinyl. I think blue and maybe some other colors too, but I have it on the black vinyl. But Daryl Letts asked Johnny G if he can flip it over. On the flip side, they're doing a cover of a tune originally recorded by the Collegians back in 1958. So we move up to 1963 now for a group called The Reminiscence. This is on the Day record label. Angelo Naviello, he's the lead singer. This is going out to Daryl Letts, their rendition of the tune Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
Boom, 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 boom. Zip, 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 zoom, 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 zoom. Zip, 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 zoom, 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 zoom. Zip, 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 boom, 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 boom.
Love you, yes I love you so. Want to say so. So I need you by
I love you so. When I go to sleep at night, yes, I pray the Lord to hold me tight. When I go to sleep at night, yes, I pray the Lord to hold me tight. I love you, yes, I love you so. Want to hold you so, that I love you so. I love you so. When I go to sleep at night, yes, I pray the Lord to hold me tight. When I go to sleep at night, yeah, I pray the Lord to hold me tight. Need you, need you by my side. Want you for my bride. Oh, side of it, bum, 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 zoom, 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 zoom. Yes, I need it so.
Out of Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and here's a request for listener Matey Campboy. It's a very rare 45, those collectors looking for this record. I was lucky to get one from Noriega out in California. He knew the label owner, was able, or the widow of the label owner, and was able to, Mike Noriega was able to get me a copy, but it was expensive, but it was stone mint, unplayed. But this group is from the Lincoln Heights section of Los Angeles, California, and really the travesty of this is that this song was released during the British invasion, which gave it absolutely no chance of any radio station to play it. That is the travesty of this. But it's produced by Cliff Goldsmith, who had success producing novelty records for the Olympics on the RV record label. But this is a killer tune, and it features James Hubbard on lead. So this is by request for Matey Campboy, August 1964. Give a listen to the showcases on Galaxy. It's called This Love Was Real.
This love, this love,
this love was real.
This love was real.
Mama mia.
Oh, yes, it was. It was so wonderful.
Mama mia.
Oh, yes, it was. And I know.
Yes, I know. Mama mia.
His love was real.
Oh, this love was real.
As the heavens were opened,
Mama mia.
I can see the vision of my love
Mama mia.
that was dear to me. And I know.
Yes, I know. Mama mia.
This love was real.
This love was real.
This love, yes, it was this love that was so wonderful that no one in this world could calmly share the happiness. And as I look at the heavens up above, I still perceive that love that was dear to me because
This love was real.
Heavens were open.
Mama mia.
I can see the vision of my love
Mama mia.
that was dear to me. And I know, yes, I
Mama mia.
know, his love was real.
This love, this love,
Ah, this love
That's by request from Matey Campoy there. That is a killer tune there. The Showcases from August 1964. August 64. James Hubbard, he's the lead singer. It's on the Galaxy record label. This Love Was Real. That had no chance. No chance in 1964 with the Beatles out on the scene to get airplay, and that is a shame. Now, this group would also have a release as Mr. Zulu and the Warriors on the Score label. I actually had that one to play on my All 60s show, so stay tuned for that. 3 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. Last week, I featured the Lydells out of Philadelphia, and what did I play? Genie of the Lamp. I think I saw Ira in our chat room. Is the Count of Basie. That is Ira, and he mentioned that his favorite tune by the Lydells was this song. So we're going to send this one out to Ira, that he's in our YouTube chat room. This is on the Southern Sound record label. This is from January 65. These are the Lydells. It features Gary Young on lead. The Lydells on Southern Sound. It's called Playing Hide and Seek.
We're not cheats anymore, so why won't you that for? Telling all your friends that you left town. You've been staying all alone, yes, every night at home. But your game is up, cause now I found you. I've been looking where we used to go. Say what's cooking, you and me will be so. I looked on the corner and I went down by the water and I went to the movies, but you weren't there. You've been hiding out on me, you've been playing hide and seek, and I knew I'd find you if I really cared for you. Whoa. Say there, bad girl, playing hide and seek. Come on, bad girl, come back to me. Bad girls can be good.
Well, we'll send that one out to Ira, although he likes the flip side of the Wizard of Love. I'll have to remember that. You have to remember that, Charlene. Write that down. But those are the Lydells' January 65 release on the Southern Sound record label, Playing Hide and Seek. 2 more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This one here is a request for Tom Shaughnessy. This great group out of Washington, D.C. began recording with Atlantic Records back in 1951. 22 releases on the Atlantic label, but they recorded on other labels like United Artists, also Winley Records, and also this label, Poplar Records. And Buddy Bailey still going strong in 1963, as this is on the Porwin label. I said Poplar, but this is on Porwin. And this bubbled under at number 143 on the Billboard Bubbling Under charts, but this was a number 16 record on WRAP in Norfolk, Virginia. This one from June 63. This is for Tom Shaughnessy. These are the Clovers. The Clovers on Porwin with Buddy Bailey on lead. It's called Stop Pretending.
If you love me, then let me know. If you don't want, then tell me so. But stop pretending. just to lead me astray. If you need me, let it show. If you don't, then let me go. But stop pretending just to lead me astray. There's no need to build me up, just to let me down. And just when I think you love me, yeah, you turn my world upside down. If you need me, let it show. If you don't, then let me go. But stop pretending just to lead me astray. Stop pretending just to lead me astray.
As by request for Tom Shaughnessy there, the great Clovers. Clovers on the Porwin record label. I think, as Ira mentioned, I think it was Ira that mentioned it was probably Paul Winley's record label. That's, of course, you know, out of New York City there. Buddy Bailey and the Clovers there, June 1963 on Porwin, called Stop Pretending. Well, Johnny G's not going to be pretending anymore. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email. It's vinyltreasures@aol.com. That is the address for all requests, Christmas requests, information, anything you like. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. And the playback on the YouTube should be there instantaneously. They do. I don't know what the buffering today, how that went. I even lost the connection on the Oldies and More stream. It was connecting, and I said I didn't want to disconnect because I'm also recording it, because I upload the show, the stream of the show, on vinyltreasures.net. I know Cheryl Morgan goes there to listen to it, and a bunch of other people, they go to that website because they're either out or doing something. A lot of people like to see the show live. So many others watch it later on the archive, and that's what the archive is for. The show is pretty long, to be honest, but if you're sitting on your sofa, just if you're watching a movie or something, if you can correspond in the chat room, that would be great. That's the new phenomenon. I don't think anybody else does it. I mean, they play one record or they show a picture of the record. You don't know if they own the record. Chances are they probably don't. But but Nick did own all those records. That is for sure. But I'm showing you in real time what I do. But again, I love doing it because this is really the only time I get to listen to my records. And hopefully when I retire, I'll have a lot more time to spend on getting my show and my records in order, so I can do that 60s show that I do on Monday night too, because the 60s are difficult because they're all over the place. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Charlene, again for all your help in putting up with Johnny G and all my aggressive tendencies. No, I'm really a nice guy. But again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. And again, send me your Christmas requests. We'll be playing some next week again. I got some cool 60s Christmas records I'll be doing on Monday night, this coming Monday at 8 o'clock, 8 to 11 o'clock on Oldies and More Radio, and also right here on YouTube, so you can watch Johnny G again. But our closer tonight is for our number one California listener, and that is Mady Campboy. She wanted to hear this 45 that's out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, And this artist recorded 4 on the label called DMD Records. This is his second, and it's a request for Matey. His name is Dwayne Calvert and Group, and he co-wrote this tune. It's from April 64. Dwayne Calvert on the DMD record label. It's called Somewhere, Somehow. That is our closer. That is for Matey. And some way, somehow, I'll be back next Saturday at 10 o'clock, 10 to 1 a.m. right here on YouTube, and also starting at midnight on the Oldies and More Radio Network. And for those of you that like the 60s, the mid-60s, the early, some early 60s, but we got some rockabilly coming up this Monday night. I'll be on at 8 o'clock, 8 to 11 o'clock on Oldies and More, and also here on YouTube. That's going to do it, folks. Everybody have a great week. I'll see some of you next Saturday, others on Monday. Just want to say, everybody, so long. This is for Matey. Okay, folks, that's going to do it. I apologize for the buffering. I lost total connection there. The total connection went at one point. It's got to be the wind. Here is that Poor Wind record label. Produced by Paul Winley. Oh, focus. Buddy Bailey. You see, featuring Buddy Bailey on lead. Is he doing? Yeah, he's on. One More Time is the other side. He's also on the flip. And it's the other DMD records. They're like on the, they're pretty good soul records. But this is kind of his cool group record that has like a soul flavor to it. Somewhere, somehow. The other ones are hard to get. You know, if I see them, I pick them up if I see them. But again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Johnny G is beat. And again, I will see you guys next Saturday, and I'll see others on Monday night. So long, everybody. Thanks again for sticking around and being part of the show. It's very special. Thank you. Take care.